Hi everyone. We're live from the Cushman & Wakefield booth for ICSC Recon 2019 to bring you what's next in retail. I'm Alana Leffler, Head of Marketing for America's Retail Services, and with us this morning is Matt Hudson, who is Head of Retail Leasing for Australia. How are you, Matt?
I'm well, thanks for having me.
All right, well, how's your conference going so far?
It's been pretty exciting. Managed to meet a few great retailers, some great colleagues, global platform. It's been really exciting. Really pumped for the next couple of days.
And are you a big fan of Vegas, or is it a place where you want to get in and out?
I'm an in and out guy.
Yeah, me too at this point, but it can be a lot of fun too. I love coming here to Vegas and having the conference every year, and it's great to see everybody from around the globe, our colleagues that we don't always get to connect with and all the time.
Totally. Look, we had a great dinner last night with all the cross-border teams, so it was exciting. It's good fun.
Oh, good. Well, that's great. Well, let's talk about Australia retail. What are the big trends you're seeing right now?
So we've really got probably three main categories that are really dominating at the moment. The main one is probably cosmetics. Second would be luxury fashion, and there's a big push on F&B. A lot of the major discount department stores are really struggling at the moment, which is probably quite familiar with the global trend around the pressure on the DDS format. And now there's a lot of pressure on those formats to innovate those spaces. So we're seeing that space really probably lean more towards F&B and larger entertainment concepts.
And what type of retailers and F&B concepts are you saying? Do you have a few examples?
Yeah, look, there's a couple of big groups at the moment that are really innovating the space. FunLab have entered the market really strongly. When I say entered, probably over the last 5 years. Really dominated out of their bowling concept into putt-putt, arcade halls and so forth. So they're going to have 33 sites by the end of June.
Wow.
Which for a country of say 25 million population is pretty significant. But in terms of F&B, we're seeing a bit more of a push towards food halls. I think everyone's starting to lean that way. I think Australia is probably a little bit embryonic in terms of the journey, which is it's exciting to be part of that sort of initial phase, but there's a lot of growth and potentially a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely. Have you seen Cushman & Wakefield's Food Halls report? We have a 3.0 that just came out.
I had dinner with Phil last night, actually.
Perfect. Well, Phil's amazing, and he's been in the arena for a long time, so we're really excited to have him and take advantage of his expertise.
Totally.
So what else are you seeing for Australia retail?
In terms of other areas, I mean, it's quite interesting. We're probably seeing a bit more of a push towards, I suppose, fewer stores but larger stores, which again is probably quite similar to what we're seeing here in the US and also across EMEA. But I think the presence of, say, a high street store is now coming into the forefront, particularly with the online component. So the opportunity to get in front of the consumer is really quite critical now. So where brands have probably been a little bit more, I suppose, focused on not being high street, they're looking at taking fewer stores, bigger stores, but with better exposure, and I think it's really paying dividends. I mean, particularly in the luxury fashion space, you've got guys like Gucci that are, doing north of say $100,000 a square meter, right, in terms of turnover performance. So it's that may be sort of singly focused on the brand performance, but when you look at it as a category, I mean, a lot of the luxury brands are really outperforming traditional retailers. So.
Oh, that's very interesting to hear. And who else besides Gucci would you say is doing that really well? Who's being very successful?
Probably in the cosmetic space, there's a group called Mecca Cosmetics, which is probably the biggest competitor to Sephora. They're turning over like $85,000 a square meter, which is pretty significant. But when you look at, say, the Sephora model globally and how that dominates here, Mecca was really just the first to get in and secure all the licenses. So, I mean, look, from a sales performance-wise, and particularly with the shopping centres, we're seeing that cosmetics is definitely the focus in terms of the high streets, cosmetics and luxury fashion. Technology, Apple, Samsung, they're really dominating the sales performance in the top centers.
Right. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Matt. I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Alana Leffler, and that's what's next.